Tired of feeling overwhelmed by leadership challenges? You are not alone. For centuries, the burden of command has weighed heavily on those who lead, whether emperors, generals, or everyday professionals. But what if the secret to leading well wasn't in acquiring more control, but mastering the control of oneself? In ancient Rome, leaders faced betrayal, war, and political chaos. Yet some stood firm, unshaken, guided by a quiet philosophy rooted in discipline, reason, and inner strength. This was Stoicism. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor-philosopher, ruled during one of Rome's most turbulent periods. Plague ravaged cities, barbarians pressed the borders, corruption eroded the Senate, and still he wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." He didn't seek to control the chaos. He focused on controlling his response to it. Stoic philosophy teaches us that leadership begins within, not with charisma, not with dominance, but with clarity. Epictetus, once a slave and later a revered teacher, reminded his students, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." True leadership isn't about having all the answers. It's about cultivating judgment, patience, courage, justice. When emotions run high, the Stoic leader pauses. When others seek blame, the Stoic takes responsibility. When the path is unclear, the Stoic holds fast to their principles. These ancient teachings are not relics. They are tools, sharpened by time, forged in adversity, waiting to be used in boardrooms, classrooms, and communities today. Seneca wrote, "He who is brave is free." To lead bravely is to face fear without flinching, to endure criticism without bitterness, to act not from impulse, but from integrity. The modern leader may not wear a toga or command an army, but the challenges remain: uncertainty, pressure, doubt. Stoicism offers a steady compass. It reminds us we do not control the wind, but we can adjust the sails. Leadership is not about bending the world to your will. It's about mastering yourself in the face of the world. So the next time leadership feels like a storm, remember the words of Marcus Aurelius. If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment. That power is yours. Start within. Lead with virtue, endure with strength, and rise, not in noise, but in wisdom. Stoicism, a timeless philosophy for modern leaders. In a world of constant change, pressure, and uncertainty, the need for grounded, resilient leadership has never been greater. While technology and society have advanced rapidly, the fundamental challenges of leading others, managing stress, making decisions under pressure, maintaining integrity, remain timeless. To meet these challenges, many modern leaders are turning to an ancient source of wisdom: Stoicism. Stoicism, a philosophy founded in ancient Greece and refined in the Roman Empire, has proven to be a powerful guide for those in positions of responsibility and influence. It is not a dry academic theory, but a practical discipline rooted in action, clarity, and self-mastery. In ancient Rome, Stoicism became the guiding philosophy for some of history's most effective and admired leaders. Figures like Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, and Seneca, a statesman and advisor to emperors, practiced Stoic principles not just in private reflection, but in the public sphere, through war, political turmoil, and personal loss. Their writings offer a rich source of insight for anyone striving to lead with calm, courage, and conviction. At its core, Stoicism teaches that while we cannot control external events, we can control our responses to them. This central idea forms the bedrock of resilient leadership. A Stoic leader focuses not on blame or circumstances, but on judgment, values, and deliberate action. This philosophy is built on four key virtues: wisdom, the ability to discern what is truly important and to make sound decisions; courage, the strength to face adversity and act rightly, even in fear or uncertainty; justice, the commitment to fairness, integrity, and the well-being of others; temperance, the practice of self-restraint, balance, and emotional control. Throughout this exploration, we will uncover how these Stoic principles, tested in the crucible of Roman leadership, can help modern leaders thrive in boardrooms, classrooms, hospitals, and homes. Whether navigating a crisis, managing a team, or seeking personal growth, Stoicism offers timeless tools for developing clarity, discipline, and inner peace. This is not just ancient history. This is living wisdom for those who aspire to lead with purpose. Stoic principles: cultivating resilience and self-discipline. Resilience is not merely the ability to endure hardship. It is the quiet strength that allows us to rise again with clarity, purpose, and calm. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, faced immense burdens: wars, plagues, betrayal, and the constant pressure of leadership. Yet, in the pages of his private journal, later known as Meditations, he reminds himself and us that adversity is not an obstacle, but a path to inner strength. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. This is the heart of resilience. The Stoic does not wish for an easy life. Instead, he prepares his mind to meet challenges with courage and composure. For Marcus, resilience came from understanding that we cannot control what happens, but we can always control our response. When setbacks arise, unexpected criticism, failed plans, or personal loss, the Stoic does not collapse under their weight. He turns inward, calls on reason, and asks, "Is this within my control?" If not, he releases it. If yes, he meets it with action and resolve. This resilience is not passive endurance. It is active acceptance, a daily practice of returning to the present moment and reasserting one's values in the face of difficulty. Complementing this resilience is the Stoic principle of self-discipline, which Seneca described not just as restraint, but as the deliberate alignment of our actions with our highest goals. No man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity, for he is not permitted to prove himself. So wrote Seneca, who believed that greatness is forged through the repeated choice of virtue over comfort, principle over pleasure. In his letters, Seneca advised his students to keep their habits in check, to live below their means, to practice voluntary discomfort, not as punishment, but as preparation. When we deny ourselves easy pleasures, we strengthen the will. When we commit to daily reflection and order, we train the mind. Self-discipline is not about rigidity, it is about freedom. The freedom to choose what is best over what is easiest. It is rising early to write. It is holding your tongue when anger strikes. It is staying true to your purpose, even when no one is watching. For modern leaders, these Stoic principles offer more than philosophy. They offer strategy. A resilient leader remains grounded during crisis. They do not panic or place blame. They pause, assess what is in their control, and take reasoned action. A self-disciplined leader stays the course. They do not chase every impulse or distraction. They lead by example, showing others what it means to stay committed to purpose, integrity, and service. In a world of constant noise, stress, and uncertainty, Marcus Aurelius and Seneca remind us that the true battle is within. To build resilience, practice acceptance and perspective. To grow self-discipline, train your will through conscious daily choices. Together, these Stoic virtues form the backbone of unshakable leadership. Not leadership built on charisma or control, but on character. Not a life free from hardship, but a life elevated by it. Let adversity shape your strength. Let discipline shape your destiny. And let Stoic wisdom guide your path, one decision at a time. Leading with wisdom and virtue is the soul of Stoic philosophy. For the Stoic, leadership is not about titles or power, but about the unwavering pursuit of wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. A leader who does not cultivate virtue leads only in appearance, not in substance. Stoic leadership begins from within, from the mastery of one's desires, fears, and impulses. It is rooted in character, not charisma. In the Stoic worldview, virtue is the only true good. All external achievements, wealth, fame, influence, are indifferent. They are not to be rejected, but neither are they to be pursued at the cost of one's moral integrity. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, constantly reminded himself in meditations to lead with justice and humility. He wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." This simple principle reflects the Stoic ideal of ethical clarity in leadership. In Roman history, there are striking examples of leaders who embodied this Stoic ideal, among them Julius Caesar and Cicero. Caesar, though often remembered for his military conquests and ambition, was also known for his exceptional self-discipline and magnanimity. His ability to remain calm under pressure and to extend clemency to his enemies reflected Stoic traits. Even in the face of betrayal, he chose to lead with composure rather than vengeance. His clemency after civil war was not weakness, but a demonstration of inner control and foresight. Cicero, a statesman and philosopher, championed the Stoic ideal of justice. In the face of political corruption, he used rhetoric and reason to defend the republic. His belief in the rule of law and moral responsibility set a standard for ethical leadership. Though ultimately exiled and executed for his convictions, Cicero never abandoned his commitment to virtue. Stoicism teaches that ethical dilemmas are not external challenges. They are internal tests of character. When faced with a difficult decision, the Stoic leader asks not, "What will gain me favor?" but "What is the right thing to do?" In today's world, where leaders are bombarded with pressure from stakeholders, public opinion, and personal ambition, Stoic wisdom offers a compass. It teaches the leader to step back, examine their values, and act with integrity. A Stoic leader does not compromise virtue for short-term success. They understand that every choice shapes their character. In moments of crisis, they return to core principles: act with justice, speak with honesty, lead with courage, and temper passion with reason. When ethical dilemmas arise, when profit conflicts with people, or when strategy conflicts with values, the Stoic leader leans into virtue. They may lose in the eyes of the world, but they win in the realm of conscience. This is the power of Stoicism in leadership. It reminds us that greatness is not measured by achievements, but by the strength of character. A leader grounded in wisdom and virtue is not swayed by chaos. They stand firm, guided not by impulse, but by principle. And in doing so, they not only lead, they elevate everyone around them. Navigating complexity. Stoic strategies for success. In a world overflowing with distractions, data, and competing demands, clarity is no longer a luxury. It is a necessity. The Stoics, centuries ago, offered tools not only to survive in complex environments, but to thrive with composure, discipline, and inner peace. Focus and prioritization in a complex world. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "If you seek tranquility, do less, or do what's essential, what the logos of a social being requires, and in the requisite way." This principle is as relevant today as it was in ancient Rome. Stoicism teaches us that the key to navigating complexity is not to do more, but to do less, better. Focus begins with understanding what is truly within our control. Thoughts, choices, attitude. These are our domain. The rest, outcomes, opinions, events, lie outside our control and must be released from our grip. In a cluttered world, Stoic leaders define what matters. They ask, what must be done now? What aligns with my values and purpose? What is noise and what is signal? Prioritization becomes a moral act. It is choosing excellence over distraction, service over self-indulgence, and clarity over chaos. Managing stress and maintaining mental clarity. Seneca reminds us, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Most stress does not come from events themselves, but from our judgments about them. Stoicism reframes our perception. It encourages us to see every challenge as an opportunity to grow in virtue. When faced with pressure, the Stoic pauses. They reflect. They return to first principles. Is this within my control? What virtue is this moment calling for? Courage, patience, justice? By focusing on what can be done, calmly, rationally, and without fear, we untangle complexity with clarity. We do not deny emotion. We understand it, examine it, and then respond with wisdom rather than impulse. Daily practices like journaling, silence, and self-inquiry help reinforce mental clarity. In chaos, the Stoic finds stillness. Effective communication and building strong teams. Epictetus taught, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. Effective communication begins with listening, deeply, without distraction, without judgment. Stoic leaders approach communication as a craft of honesty, humility, and clarity. They speak only when necessary. They choose words that unite rather than divide. They ask more than they tell. Teams built on Stoic values emphasize trust over control, accountability over blame, respect over ego. Leaders lead by example. They show restraint in conflict. They respond to criticism with reflection. They create space for others to rise. The Stoic team does not avoid difficult conversations. They welcome them because truth sharpens excellence. Conclusion. To navigate a complex world, the Stoic chooses simplicity. To manage stress, the Stoic chooses perspective. To lead teams, the Stoic chooses virtue. These are not outdated ideas. They are tools for modern success. Because true strength is not in controlling the world, but in mastering oneself. Let every challenge, every conversation, every decision be guided not by fear, but by philosophy. Let the Stoic within you rise. Conclusion. Embracing Stoic leadership for a better future. In a world that often feels chaotic and uncertain, the timeless wisdom of Stoic philosophy offers a path forward, a way to lead with purpose, resilience, and integrity. We've seen how Stoic principles like virtue, self-discipline, rational thinking, and emotional resilience shaped some of history's greatest leaders. Marcus Aurelius ruled with wisdom in the face of immense pressure. Seneca navigated political turmoil while urging clarity and moral courage. Epictetus, though born a slave, became a teacher of freedom, showing that leadership begins within. These lessons are not confined to the past. They are tools for today. Stoic leadership reminds us that external events are beyond our control, but our responses are always within our power. It teaches us that true strength comes not from dominance, but from character. That success is not measured by titles or wealth, but by living in accordance with reason, justice, courage, and self-control. As modern leaders, whether in business, community, or personal life, embracing these principles can transform the way we think, act, and relate to others. It begins with daily reflection. It grows with mindful action. And it endures through challenges because it is rooted in something deeper than ego or ambition. So take these teachings to heart. Study the writings of the Stoics. Practice what you learn. And lead not just with skill, but with wisdom. The world needs leaders who are calm in crisis, grounded in ethics, and committed to something greater than themselves. Let that leader be you. Embrace Stoic values, shape a more virtuous world, and lead not just for today, but for a better future.